What is up, guys? Welcome back to another quick episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name's Kyle. In this video, it's August 29th. We have football game next Thursday night. Hopefully, you guys are getting ready for your fantasy redrafts this coming weekend, or if you're doing tonight, tomorrow, whenever. But it's redraft season. Super excited for the weekend. And I'm going to share with you guys one of my favorite tools that I try to look at every single season. And if you want to print it off or use it for your draft, it's a really good idea. You should know the strength of schedule heading into your fantasy football drafts and into the fantasy football season. So we're going to hop into a screen share here, and I'm going to share the work of Warren Sharp here. I also have something similar on the fantasyfellowship.com. I went through DraftKings and I went through their projected win-loss totals. So I do have a projected strength of schedule as well. And my results were very, very similar to Warren Sharp's. But he's got a little bit better data, I would say. I don't know where my strength of schedule is, but let me see if I can find it for you. DraftKings projections. I will find it and put a link in the description. But otherwise, the article to Warren Sharp is posted in the description as well. And here is the quick takeaway from the chart. Teams at the top left in the green, these have the easiest schedules. Teams at the bottom right have the worst. So the Saints and the Falcons, like far and away, the easiest schedules. They're going to play the NFC South this year. Of course, that's not a great division. I can't remember the other divisions they get. We can look at the Saints' schedule, but the Saints do have the best schedule in the league this year, which to me puts the entire Saints offense on my chart or on my cheat sheet for fantasy football, as well as the Falcons. I think Derek Carr, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave is the real winner here. He's the number one player on this chart. And basically, if you read this, the best player on each team, you can kind of just go down the list here. The Saints, Chris Olave. The Falcons, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Desmond Ridder. The Colts, Anthony Richardson's got a really nice schedule. Bryce Young, Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen. The entire 49ers offense, like this should push you to take Christian McCaffrey. The Bears, Justin Fields, DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert. The Texans, I'm super excited about Dameon Pierce. This should push you towards him. The Steelers' offense is going to be pretty good this year. And the Titans, don't sleep on the Titans, like Derrick Henry, D-Hop, Ryan Tannehill, Treylon Burks. The Seattle Seahawks offense, I think the Lions offense and the Jags offense, people are pretty excited about those teams on the up and up. The Eagles, the Packers, and then we kind of get into the middle here. So super interesting, but I really want a lot of these players on this top half of the green list. And then teams at the bottom right. Like the Patriots are going to struggle this year. Ramondre Stevenson's really the only draftable New England Patriot for me. Like I'm not taking Juju. I'm not taking any of the other receivers, tight ends, running backs, or quarterbacks. I think Mac Jones may be in a super flex league. The Raiders, I'm super terrified of the Raiders and their vibes this year. And they also have the second most difficult schedule. So I'm pumping the brakes on like Devontae and Josh Jacobs. I'm trying to take these players on the better schedules and the better situations. So take note of these bottom five teams here, even like the Jets, the Chargers, the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins. There's some really good teams right here. This whole row of teams from Minnesota all the way to Miami. Tough schedules for these guys here, but let's kind of go down and I'm just going to break it down for you guys. Again, the top five schedules this year, the Saints, the Falcons, the Colts, the Panthers, and the 49ers. What does this mean, basically? Well, here's your bottom five teams again. The Patriots, the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Chiefs. And we have the projected, he puts the projected win totals of the team, and then he'll give you the current line here. So check that out as well if you're a betting man. But otherwise, the strength of schedule, I'm trying to get to it here. Of the 10 teams predicted to have the hardest 2022 schedules, only 2 went to the playoffs last year, the Bengals and the Chiefs. So this has been historically pretty accurate. Teams with tough schedules probably not going to make the playoffs at a higher rate. Of the 7 teams forecasted to have losing records but predicted to have the easier than average schedules, 5 went over their win totals. The Giants, the Lions, the Commanders, the Jags, and the Panthers. So again, more evidence that suggests that these teams at the top here, they're going to have a better chance of making the playoffs, and they might have a better chance of being good players for our fantasy teams. Of the 9 teams forecasted to have winning records and predicted to have easier than average schedules, 6 teams, so 6 out of 9. Okay, so some pretty good odds here. Before it was 5 out of 7 with losing records predicted to have easier than average schedules. They all got they all played pretty well, and then 6 out of 9 teams made the playoffs here. So yes, of the 7 teams that actually had the easiest schedule, 6 went to the playoffs. There you go. Of the 7 teams that actually had the hardest 2022 schedules, only 2 went to the playoffs. And of the 11 teams that actually had the hardest schedules last year, only 3 went over their win bet total. Okay, so take note of this thing, guys. This is something that not everybody looks at, and it honestly it should be. So let's just kind of recap it again. The Saints, I'm interested in Chris Olave. I'm stashing Alvin Kamara when I can. In Superflex leagues, I think I like Derek Carr quite a bit. Michael Thomas ain't a bad pick either. I think Jamal Williams is interesting. Juwan Johnson, the tight ends. In best ball, I take the Saints a ton because they have an easy schedule and they actually have good skill players. With the Falcons, this should excite you about Bijan Robinson. He's worth the first-round pick. It should also excite you about Drake London, who's going to be the team's leader in receptions, yards, targets, and probably receiving touchdowns. Very excited about Desmond Ridder with this easy schedule. He should be a decent QB2 option in Superflex leagues. And then we haven't even talked about Kyle Pitts, who I think is a fun tight end opportunity for you guys. Now, the Colts, the Jonathan Taylor situation, we're kind of swerving on Jonathan Taylor, but this should make you interested in Anthony Richardson as your QB2, especially in Superflex leagues, or put him on your bench in a 1 QB league. Again, the Panthers, I'm looking at Miles Sanders. I'm looking at Adam Thielen, maybe Bryce Young in a Superflex. Take a stab at Jonathan Mingo. The 49ers, yes, Christian McCaffrey's the top 4 pick. Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, Brock Purdy in Superflex leagues, George Kittle with the Bears. Yes, I'm drafting Justin Fields. I'm drafting DJ Moore and Khalil Herbert, maybe even Roshan Johnson in there. Sometimes Cole Kmet if you need a tight end. The Texans, to me, are all about Dameon Pierce. Like, he's going to feast this year. I think Nico Collins is interesting, as well as CJ Stroud in Superflex leagues. The entire Steelers offense excites me, from Kenny Pickett, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, the receivers, Deontay with George Pickens, Pat Freiermuth. Like, you got to take a Steeler, I think, at some point, because they're going to overperform expectation. The Titans, it's only Derrick Henry, DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks. Take a stab at Ryan Tannehill in the Superflex league and take a shot at Tajay Spears at the end of your bench. The Seahawks, with no JSN, man, like DK Metcalf needs to be pushed up boards. I think Tyler Lockett and DK are both screaming values for the first month for sure. We'll see what happens when JSN returns. If JSN slips in your draft, though, collect him. Put him on your IR for the first month and then see what happens. And then Geno Smith is a big winner in this one, as well as Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. The Lions, I'm all in on Goff, St. Brown, Gibbs, and Montgomery. That's probably the end of the list. You can maybe make an argument for Laporta in deeper leagues. The Jags, it's Trevor Lawrence, it's Etienne, it's Ridley, it's Kirk. Not so much about Ingram, but maybe Zay Jones as well. The entire Eagles offense, man, from A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, those are the locks. And then if you want to snag one of the running backs, DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, Rashad Penny, I'm cool with holding on to one of those guys. And then don't sleep on the Packers offense. Like, Aaron Rodgers played with a broken thumb last year. They just weren't good. If Jordan Love is just average, like, that's going to be better than what the Packers got last year. So I expect the Packers to have maybe 8-9 wins this season, and the offense should be functional. So Jordan Love in a Superflex, sure. Christian Watson, high upside at the wide receiver 2-3 spot. Romeo Doubs and Jaden Reed on the bench. You can draft Aaron Jones as your RB2. You can draft A.J. Dillon for your bench too. And then don't sleep on Luke Musgrave. Some of my favorite players come from the Packers in best ball. Overall, on the bottom of the list, I think Ramondre is the only guy for the Patriots for me. The Raiders, Jacobs, Devontae Adams are really the only guys I'm targeting. Otherwise, I'm kind of staying away. The Dolphins, I still think you take Tyreek. You still take Waddle. The running backs are going to be playing, kind of like playing whack-a-mole. But Tua will have a tough schedule. I'm not concerned about the Bills, the Chiefs, or the Chargers offense. They're going to put up points. I am concerned about the Jets offense for the first 4 to 6 games. They have a really tough schedule. I think most people could look at their schedule and say, yeah, they're either going to be 3-3 at best, or 2-4 is likely for the Jets. You got the Vikings have a tough schedule this year. They're probably going to lose more games than expected. Commanders, tough schedule. But with the Commanders being ranked this low, it's interesting, because if they were ranked where the Texans are, I'm drafting Brian Robinson. But where the Commanders are here, I'm drafting Antonio Gibson, Jahan Dotson, Sam Howell. Those are the guys I want from the Commanders. But that's enough for me on this one, guys. Check out the article. I'm going to try and find my strength of schedule here for you guys. It's somewhere on my website. I just got to find it. But either way, thanks for tuning in. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in a future video. Peace.